Last I checked, Skeletron is not that threatening. If I had more time in the stream, it could be possible for us to, you know, defeat both of them in the same stream, but I don't think that's going to happen. Only got an hour left today. I think most of that's going to go towards this arena. Definitely next week we're going to almost for surely take down Skeletron. Pretty awesome. Alright, let's go ahead and take down the rest of this island here. And, I'm gonna start building the platforms before we take down the ceiling. I think that'll be easier to work on the ceiling once we have some platforms in place. I would make platforms out of the hive blocks if we could, but we just can't do that, unfortunately. Best I can do is using mahogany wood. But honestly, we have enough regular wood on us as is, so I'll just use that. And I don't think if there's anything to do off stream. I don't think there really is. And if I want to get the rest of those potions, like the luck potion and there's one other one in there, I can't remember. If I want to get those, I'll go ahead and get those off stream. But everything else we're gonna have to wait for. Still hard mode for the most part. Alright. So there is our space hollowed out. All of this down here could be left as is because we can walk on the honey, so we don't really need to worry about like falling into the honey once all of this settles, which is nice. I'm going to even out like the walking path, I guess you could say, just to make it easier in case some loot falls down here and I need to grab it. But I don't really need to flatten out the entire thing. That should be good enough. I'm gonna go ahead and start building all my platforms pretty much right on top of this. And I probably need way more than that for the rest of the arena, but you can collect that later. Then we can start doing that that equation that I used last time to calculate how many torches we need. Obviously, we have unlimited torches, but I just don't know, you know, the spacing of how they're gonna go. Alright. There's platform 1 done. I'll go ahead and start spacing out the rest of them up until... Looks like that wooden barrier up there might be the highest spot. Actually, this little thing right here probably gonna be the wooden, or the highest spot up here. This wood right here. See, that is going to be at a height of exactly 0. Interesting. Okay. Keep that there. Right there, that should be the same. We'll start building up, though, right there. Alright, that is quite a lot of platforms, I would say. We'll call the ceiling, or the... not the ceiling, but we'll call the last platform there. We'll start hollowing out the ceiling once we connect all of this up to the walls. And whatever I don't get done here, I will actually do off stream. I'll go and do that off stream. Honestly, I think we have enough time to get through it, but I don't know. I might be underestimating the time it takes to place down a lot of platforms. Whew. This is making me remember back when I was a child. I would play this game on vanilla on console, and I don't know why. I don't know what kind of child replays Terraria on vanilla over and over again as if it's gonna change every time I play it. I don't know, I was just playing vanilla Terraria over and over again, and anytime I would build anything underground, it would just be absolute hell. Obviously, as a kid, I don't know, like, the best strategies to deal with spawning enemies, and like how to cut down on the time spent on like terraforming and building arenas and stuff like that. So I'd be sitting there building like a big old mob farm for hours, tearing my hair out because I would be dying every 5 seconds and I'd have to walk back every time. Or, I don't know, set up a teleporter. And that would take forever to just do that. So, I think now every time I do something like this, I kind of expect it to be that hard every time. But honestly, Louis AFK and Calamity have kind of made it a lot easier to deal with terraforming and building stuff like this. So, grateful for that, I would say. Still, decently tedious work, don't get me wrong, but not nearly as tedious. Somehow, if you can imagine that. Alright, yeah, we're definitely gonna need, like, 3,000 more platforms or something. Quite a lot of wood. Thankfully, I do have that axe that regrows trees every time I cut one down, or it replants them. At least it doesn't grow them, but it plants them. So, start gathering some more wood. And while that's happening, I'll go ahead and fill in the rest of this. I'll take in this wall here a little bit, so it's a bit of a nicer angle. And then I'll start taking in the ceiling a little bit. Oh, this is, like a living grass wall or something like that. Jungle wall. I don't know. Alright, there is all of that taken care of, at least for now. Alright. Let's start bringing in these ceilings and these walls here. Does look like our ground platform is actually going to be under the honey at some point. So let me try to bring this honey level. I want to say water level, but it's not even water. Let me try to bring this down a little bit. We are definitely going to destroy even more honey blocks pretty soon. That could be a problem, but try to fix that. This can come down a bit. A little bit. Ah, okay. Come back and finish that in a minute. But for now, let's drop everything off, or throw it away, basically. Grab this axe so we can start cutting down some more trees. And yeah, we'll do that. And then we'll go back and start walking around the walls there. Golden chest, I'll keep that. Everything else, don't really need. One moment, somebody is knocking at my door. That was my niece this time. I think she just wanted to say hi. See what I was doing. So, if we need, like... I don't know, I would estimate around 3,000 platforms. Probably need a little bit more than that, to be honest. We're gonna have to get about 1,500 wood. Which is definitely doable. We're gonna definitely have to cut down a lot of trees, though. Because the trees in this game do not get that big. Obviously, we can plant as many trees as we want. And just keep farming them for a while, but... they just don't get that big, so... I'm gonna have to cut down a lot of them. Alright, so that's about 1,000 right there. Under 1,000. We'll have to come back for another harvest once these start growing back. And again, we may need a little bit more than that. I don't really know. That seems fine for now. Go ahead and sell all this fruit. We don't need it anymore. Alright, let's continue. There we go. Alright. Let me go ahead and head to this crafting bench in our desert. I'm gonna make some more hive walls in case we need them. Once we start destroying the walls and everything. Be alright for now. I'm gonna go ahead and drop off these blocks as well. Don't need those anymore. Alright. I'm gonna start taking this one in. We have a bit more of an even wall here in case we need to, you know, dodge, and we're like right up against the wall there. We'll get caught up on that lip right there. And we're probably going to die a few times in the meantime, but that's alright. Not too hard to get back really quickly, so not too big of a deal. That's another thing about Calamity. I actually kind of forgot. Usually in vanilla, I think if you play on expert or master mode, the respawn time is like 15 seconds by default. Something like that. But on Calamity, it's only 3. Very, very helpful. Especially, you know, when doing work like this. Makes me feel like I'm playing like Overwatch or something like that every time I die in vanilla. Like, I don't need to wait 15 seconds every time I die. Like, it's a single player game. For a boss, I get that. If you're playing like multiplayer and you're fighting a boss, I get that. To make it a bit, you know, more difficult, but on single player, like, you don't need that. Alright, there's that wall. That is perfectly fine. I need the 5 walls. The fungal clump gonna get you from this range. Tired of you just shooting pot shots at me like that. Yeah, get him. Get him, get him. Get that one up there too. Yeah, get him. Nice. Alright, there's that. Go ahead and fill in the platforms. And again, we're gonna take down this wall a little bit too to make the angle less harsh. What I'm gonna do is build a staircase basically upwards. Just keep it like that. So again, if we get caught up on the wall there, we can just run up here instead of having to fly or duck down. We can run up this way now a little bit. Okay, there's that done. The ceiling up here obviously needs to be taken in. I guess what we're going to do is line it up with this living wood here. Go ahead and flatten this out so it looks more uniform. Fine, we can leave it like that. And, go ahead and put the hive walls in there. Um, the whole ceiling doesn't need to be on, like, the exact same height, so we can just leave it like this, where it's, like, cascading downwards like that. Or at an angle, I guess you could say. There we go. There's that portion of the ceiling cut out for us. I'm gonna try to make this more uniform. I just don't like the way that looks when it's not uniform like that. Yeah, there we go. That works. We'll go ahead and move the wood barrier here. But once we start filling in the hive blocks, it'll be that. And we're gonna have to start bringing in the ceiling about here so we don't cut into that cave right there. At least not too much. Alright. I guess for this one what we have to do is kind of come in from the bottom and work our way upwards. Actually, no. No, we can make a staircase downwards. Should work. Obviously we have to deal with bees along the way, but, you know. When have we not? It would be real nice to not have knockback on right now, actually. Alright, that's fine. Ah! Alright, let's keep working our way down here. This looks like it's gonna meet up with this little divot in that ceiling right there. From my perspective.